Hello and welcome back to the 90 plus 2 podcast, Marjon's only source of football news and some transfer updates very soon. Today we are going to be discussing the title race. I'm joined by my co-host Xander, as always.
Hello.
And yeah, we've got a very special guest today. He's returning to the podcast after last summer coming on our audio-only version. It is Mr. Connor Maunder. Great to have you here.
Great to be here, Jamie.
Today we're just going to be talking about the title race, obviously, as mentioned last time. Big Arsenal enjoyer, or not enjoyer at times, but...
So far, so good this season.
Exactly.
But this is where it all went wrong last year, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, so we're just going to be discussing, obviously, it's now just coming out of the international break.
Yep.
After the last one. We've got to talk about Argyle, as we always do.
Yep.
You can get your little Swansea two-penneth in as well.
I will, don't you worry.
And yeah, mainly just be talking about, obviously, it's a massive weekend, title decider against City to come on Sunday. So yeah, we'll just get your thoughts on that. So we'll start by rounding off from where we were last time. Last night was, we've seen England's 2 games now.
Yep.
So it was, who was the first one again?
Brazil.
1-0. Yeah.
Hendrick scored. I think his post-match interview where he was on about Bobby Charlton being his idol.
Yeah.
I just want to... How old is this man? He must have been like frozen for like
exactly
60 years or something.
I've seen people say they think he's like the world's first industry plant in football.
Yeah.
Like, industry plants. It's crazy because like he's like got 20 years experience at the age of what?
17.
17.
He's like Captain America. They froze him in the ice and they found him 8 years later.
That's crazy, yeah. But I didn't think that was a particularly inspiring performance against Brazil.
No.
And then last night versus Belgium, we chose to watch Wales instead, didn't we?
We did.
That shows you how...
Grave error of judgment.
Yeah. Well, I think that shows you just how like disenchanted with Southgate ball we are.
Yeah.
That we'd rather watch Wales, who did inevitably bottle it against Poland, but... Have fun this summer, boys.
I mean, it's nice. There'll be no, like, on Twitter, with obviously being a Swansea fan, all the Wales fans as well.
Yeah.
God, it's unbearable at times. Unbearable, so...
That's
You
okay.
did follow Wales for a little bit, didn't you? But
Well, you know, we did that as a bit of a laugh when everyone supported England. I thought, I'll be different. But yeah, there you go.
That's okay,
Yeah.
We can go to Germany and they can go to Benidorm.
yeah, exactly. Very good. But yeah, I think, so what was it? Tielemans brace, and
Yeah.
then... who was it for
Tony.
England? Tony.
Getting his first goal.
You reckon he should go to the Euros?
I think he should.
As a third striker or instead of Watkins?
I think potentially as a third striker. Because I think I think a lot of the players who could be up for England, like I said, Callum Wilson, he's injured. Dom Solanke, though, I think he needs to be in contention if he continues the way he's been going.
I feel like Dom probably deserves it more than Tony.
Yeah.
Because is Solanke fit at the moment though?
Yes.
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah.
Was he in the squad this time though?
No, he wasn't, which is what surprised me.
Yeah. I feel like that's a bit brutal really, because Tony's only been back for, what, 2.5 months after, you know,
Do we not
his
fancy
Betfred
Nketiah?
subscription expired.
Don't fancy Nketiah to the Euros?
Not for me to say, really. Is it?
Anyway, no, yeah, and then Bellingham getting the last-minute equaliser.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, it did sound like it was quite an attacking performance by England. Like they did go for it a little bit, which is, you know, all we can ask for, really. It's just all we want with Foster at Argyle, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's so many similarities between Southgate ball and Foster ball. I mean, obviously, because he was England coach for years.
I feel
wasn't
like
he?
that's a thing with English, like a lot of English managers. It's quite old people who've come out of the England setup. I feel like the football's quite defensive.
Yeah.
Because I felt Steve Cooper, he was the same. He was quite a defensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
And in like the second season, we probably had a better strike force over the whole season, but we only scored like 55 goals.
Yeah.
So I think they are quite defensive-minded coaches. I don't know why that is, but I don't think you get really many attacking ones.
Is that naturally just what happens when an international football manager? They only get to work with the squad for perhaps a few weeks every now and again.
Yeah.
Do they have time to implement sort of tiki-taka or high pressing?
Do you know, I saw something on Twitter and it was like, what is your dream job? And I saw somebody put San Marino manager, because you only have to work every few months and everybody expects you to lose. So it's like you just get paid to lose in effect. even England manager can't be half bad for Southgate, can it? You see, like,
No.
he's at like every single Premier League game over the weekend. He even travelled over to Amsterdam to watch Jordan Henderson, who, again, I've said it once, I'll say it again, he does not make the Euro squad, okay? He does not make the Euro squad.
Gareth, mate, get down to the Championship. There's plenty of them in there. Plenty of good quality footballers in there.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing is, maybe a couple of years ago I'd agree with you, but I just don't think there's room for it now. Because we've got so much, like, genuine on paper, as we said last week, we have the best squad other than like France or Spain.
Yeah.
Portugal even, I said to you last night. Portugal
Certainly.
last night I think are going to be a dark horse, but
I didn't mean like a whole, like loads of them, but like one.
Yeah.
Like left back, I definitely think that is somewhere that you've got Luke Shaw, if he's fit, and you've got Ben Chilwell, that's it, if he's fit.
Neither of those are
particularly inspiring.
reliable, are they? At
Josh
this
Tymon.
point? I'd place Joe Gomez at left back, I think, based on form in the league, and you can deploy him at centre back if Maguire gets injured, or right back if Walker gets injured.
Yeah.
I don't think Trippier can go this year as a
No.
makeshift left back.
It's
You
like
know,
that.
I'll give a shout out to Rob quickly. He just said to me when we were in the other room, he reckons Ben White should come back in the squad. That's what you were saying.
Well, I think so, but there seems to be a fallout with either Southgate or Steve Holland, so
yeah.
we can beg him.
No, I
If they
think
like.
again it's what Rob was just saying. He took him to Qatar just for him to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point? Wasn't he one of the only players who didn't get any minutes?
Yeah.
Like, that is just brutal.
Apparently, Steve Holland said, well, it doesn't matter because you don't like football. And that's why he left.
Ooh.
That's the rumoured drama
Meow.
from reliable Twitter sources.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, we'll move away from the international break now. There was a whole podcast dedicated to that last week, which you can go and watch now.
You can.
And we'll move on to, of course, Connor, Arsenal. What is your assessment of the season so far?
I can safely say that I don't like being in a title race. It makes me nervous. Yeah, it's close, isn't it? It's probably the best title race that we've had in years. I don't remember a three-way title race since Chelsea, City and Liverpool with was it the iconic slip?
Yeah.
Which later decided it for City. I don't think Arsenal will fall away. I don't think that this game coming this weekend is going to be the be-all and end-all. I think if we lose against City, then that's not the end of the season, like last year, for example. But it's a big win. It's a big win if we get it, isn't it? It's 3 points ahead of City. It'll be 4 points ahead of Liverpool.
Yeah, I can check that.
We've got the most difficult fixtures. I worked it out. There's a bit of homework pre-podcast, and
you are currently joint on points with Liverpool. So
are we?
Yeah.
3 points ahead of Liverpool if
Wow.
they lose against Brighton,
Yeah.
which...
Well, you never know, do you?
But our average position for teams we're playing, I think, is 9.2,
Ah,
which
okay.
means that ninth
Yeah.
is the average position, whereas Liverpool, I think, is 10.6,
Okay, so it's slightly...
which is...
Did you work this out or did you see it on Twitter?
I worked it out.
Oh,
Yeah,
hello.
I did some homework. Don't
Ned.
you worry.
Comes to the 90 plus 2 prepared, this boy.
Yep.
Yeah, because if we look at the games you've got to come, it is looking pretty rough. So you've got City away, Luton at home. Again, it could go either way. Obviously,
If it was away, I'd be
it was
concerned.
it was a bit of a slip up against Southampton last year, wasn't it? That famous game at home.
It was, although we had Thomas Partey playing, so I think this year will be okay.
Brighton away could go either way, but I'd imagine you to win that. Villa at home, again, I can see you being too strong for them. Wolves away could be a banana skin again.
Yeah.
Spurs away is difficult.
Chelsea at home, I would imagine you'll be fine. But then, yeah, Spurs away, probably be a draw. You always seem to draw against
always
them.
draw.
Bournemouth at home, fine.
Yeah, it's a win.
And then the last two,
Is that a Liverpool at home last day of the season?
no, that's a friendly.
I was going to say that'd be
It's
class.
Man United away, and then Everton at home, last game of the season.
Well, in '98, we had to win against United to win the season. So perhaps some deja vu
Yeah.
can be...
I think it will surely go down to the last game, though. I can't see it being settled before then, just because it's so...
Not for all three teams. I think either
No.
one of Liverpool or Arsenal are going to fall away.
yeah. Not City? Well, I guess they do have that game in hand at the moment. Oh, no, they don't.
Do not?
No. But, sorry, Villa have played an extra game. It threw me off, sorry. But, yeah, when you look at City's run-in, it's So what? They got Luton, Forest, Fulham, West Ham. Yeah,
That's a lot kinder.
exactly. And then Liverpool have got Brighton, Sheffield, United, Palace, Fulham, Everton, West Ham, Spurs, Villa, and the season against Wolves. So you've got to say that'll be probably an easier last game because
That's
you'd
FPL
imagine
friendly, isn't it? That's
you'd
the way
imagine
I'd
Everton will
describe
be
that.
actually having something to play for because of the point deduction. Obviously, Forest have dropped in there, but
Let's not forget though that Everton are terrible. Let's remind ourselves that it's not a derby, is it? Let's be honest.
it used to be much more of a closer game back in the day, didn't it? Everton versus Mikel
Yeah.
Arteta
Yes.
derby. Yeah, famously was class for both teams, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be like any of them will fall off too heavily. Like you
Yeah.
said, it may be settled
Yeah.
where one of them isn't in it coming into the last game, but I think it'll still be really close. But I think I was saying to you yesterday, the only reason I would feel more favourably for a Liverpool or a City, they have proven title winners.
They've been
but
there. Although Liverpool have only won one title.
Yeah,
Let's also remind ourselves of that. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be as high a scoring a season either in terms of the points total. I think 8 wins out of the next 10 will win it.
yeah,
And we're on 64,
yeah.
so 88 points will win it, which is that's not 97th,
No.
97 point second place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's because of
close.
that. It's because of that extra team, isn't it? Like obviously they're the ones who are coming through and compensating for those points that are coming through.
But another big point to raise is that we've not lost against City or Liverpool this season.
Yeah.
So we've drawn against Liverpool, won against Liverpool, and won against City. Whereas
Can the
City
record
have
continue?
drawn twice with Liverpool,
Yeah.
lost against Arsenal, and Liverpool have obviously drawn 2, lost 1.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like unequivocal that City are having a weaker season.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
just because of their dominance over the past few years, they're still having a good season. I think Haaland's still top goal scorer.
He is, yeah. By
Really?
Yeah.
I think just by one. I think Ollie Watkins is just
Yeah,
below.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying is that he's barely been doing anything for the past. You haven't really heard his name mentioned except
No.
for he's still been playing one of the Champions League and other cups, but yeah, we've barely heard about him since his injury. Like I say, barely heard about him. He's still scoring, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's nothing like the season last year. Nobody was expecting him to, but I think that's just one of the things with City. They've been so dominant for so long,
Yeah.
getting all these big wins and huge goal scoring tallies and everything that.
You just
Now-
can't count them out.
Yeah, I think this is brilliant, honestly. Although obviously following United and their races now for, well, let's be honest, I don't think they're going to get top 4. It'll probably be aiming for a 5th, which could still be enough for Champions League.
Well, you want Arsenal to do well against Bayern in that case.
Exactly.
But I think top 4 is still on, just as a slight segue for United. What are you, 6 points behind?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I just can't see the points being dropped by Villa, to be honest, because it's they've got a game in hand on them, and it's how many is that? 9 points. So it will be 6 if United win their game in hand. They're 6 behind Spurs. It's like,
Well,
do
if
they
you
have
call
these two
top
teams
4 a
to play?
trophy, then Spurs won't win it, and then you've got just Villa to compete with.
Well, they've already played both Villa and Spurs twice.
Well, I actually saw something yesterday that Man United could potentially be banned from the Champions League. For something.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure what it was for. I'll have a look for it, but I
Ooh.
did see something about that.
Being
Like that.
rubbish.
Yeah, bring it up. It's like when Kenny last night was saying that Trent signed his contract with Real Madrid.
Yes.
Come on. Shout out Kenny if you're watching this. Where are you seeing this? It wasn't Fabrizio Romano.
Fabrizio did say that there is definite interest.
Yeah,
in
that's
Trent.
what I saw. No
I thought-
contract signed, boy. Come on. Come on. But I think for United, it's got to be winning the FA Cup, surely now. Now that you've got Coventry in the semi-final, and then I know the final, let's be honest, will probably be against City.
It's one match.
I know.
One match for a trophy.
I know, and they didn't do too badly against them in the final last year. I feel like they'll be more confident this year because I feel like they are now hitting form, as opposed to last year. They kind of had a bit of a trail off towards the end of the season with Ten Hag, and it wasn't looking particularly rosy.
Okay, so this is how it is. It's because of Sir Jim Ratcliffe,
Oh.
due to
What a boy.
him, due to his ownership of OG GC Nice. So that's
Oh.
why. Due to his ownership there, that could potentially...
So is that 2 clubs in the Champions League at any
Conflict
given
of
point?
interest.
Conflict of interest, yeah.
So like Girona and Manchester City.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. How are Nice doing in the league?
They're slowly dropping off. I think they're
Oh, please.
thirds now.
Fall off. They're 5th.
5th.
Yeah. So that's a
Wow.
Europa League place. So would it still count for the Europa League as well?
So
then?
they must at least match Nice's league position to guarantee Champions League football, but the gap between United and the top 4 in the Premier League is obviously quite big.
Yeah. So how would it work with the Europa League then? If they're both in the Europa League, is that a conflict of interest for him?
I don't honestly know, to be honest. I think it's only really kind of talk about the Champions League.
Interesting.
Nothing about Europa League, but Champions League.
It was said that there were workarounds for Girona when
Mm.
they were at the top of the table briefly. So
yeah.
I imagine it will be fixable.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You'd
Well,
expect
it's
so.
United at
It's
the end of the day,
United,
isn't it?
Yeah.
We always like take the mick and say, oh, Varchester United, all that. I'm sure that there'll be some kind of contingency put into
Yeah.
place. Could you imagine the uproar if they managed to somehow finish 4th on the last game of the season and UEFA come in and go, not for you. Yeah, that's what I'm imagining for United's season now. I've said it since the start of the year that for United, it's not a successful season, but it's like this is like the bare minimum, 4th and a trophy. Nowadays,
Yeah.
we want to be in your position, but we're nowhere near it.
Not at the moment. I mean, Ten Hag is under such enormous pressure, and
I don't hate Ten Hag, to be honest, and I feel like every time he loses a game, his job's on the chopping block from fans. I don't get that, because we've had some good results this year. And then the other day, obviously the massive cup win against Liverpool,
Yeah.
everybody's like lauding this as like, oh, that's like one of the best comebacks in United's history, like it's our best performance in 10 years. A week ago, you wanted the Baldy out.
Yeah.
Now you're Baldy in. Make your mind up, lads. Obviously, I can't say a hell of a lot because I'm just a follower from afar. I don't go to any games. But from what I've seen, I don't think they look terrible. And now the other thing, like you keep mentioning about poor Kobbie Mainoo, he's being like lauded as like the second coming of Christ in Manchester. He's 18 and he's played like, what, 20 games? Poor guy. I do feel like you said, it could be a case of they're pushing him through too early. I hope it's if you're good enough, you're old enough type thing. But
I think he's an excellent prospect, but I do worry, and coming from an Arsenal point
same.
of view, that Kieran Tierney was lauded as the next best thing, next best left back after Ashley Cole.
yeah,
And realistically, he was just a good young player when we had absolute rubbish surrounding
Yeah.
him. And mainly, I mean, he's so skillful, he's very elegant on the ball, but actually, how often does he give the ball away? How often does he win the ball back? Because like Aaron
it's raw, isn't
Wan-Bissaka,
it? It's
he's
raw.
just chaotic.
Yeah.
It's very raw and unpolished, which is expected considering he's 18.
Yeah.
Like it's clearly that raw talent where he does like the little flipping,
Absolutely.
get
love
against Belgium, didn't he?
tricky little flick skills. Yeah, he loves
Yeah.
it, doesn't he? It is fun to watch, and that is one thing. That's the only thing you'd say is that if there is a shining light in this season, if we do like finish 5th, don't win a trophy,
It's Kobbie Mainoo.
it is him so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be. And I'd say Garnacho as well is looking
He's
more
been
refined.
Very good this
He's-
year.
He stepped up a bit this year, I feel.
Especially after the overhead kick, because he kind of did nothing.
Yeah.
Did the overhead kick, where it's like, this is going to be the Puskas, probably. Would you give it
Yeah.
to him or Philogene? We love our segues on this show.
I feel like...
Do you know the goal I'm on
I
about?
do.
I feel Philogene does deserve it, to be fair.
Really? It took a
Yeah.
deflection.
Did it, though?
It did.
Did it really?
Yes, it did.
It was awarded for him. So it's not an own goal. So it's his goal.
It did go.
I don't know.
I give it to Garnacho, but I am biased, so that's why I asked
For
you
the
to.
pure artisticness of it, I would give it to Philogene.
I don't know. I think I'd give it to Garnacho because actually it's very similar to what Rooney's overhead kick was, whereas Garnacho actually hit it cleanly.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
that
Rooney shinned it, didn't he?
although
Did Rooney
an
win the
overhead-
Puskas for that goal, though?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't.
I mean,
Again,
let's be honest. It would go to United anyway because it's United.
Well, I mean-
This is whole city we're talking about.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
gonna go
yeah.
to them,
I was
is
going to say, there's two ways to it for me, really. If Garnacho wins it, then brilliant, a United
Yeah.
player's won it. If Philogene wins it, brilliant, a Championship player has won it.
Yeah.
Just class. I love the Championship. Like
It's just not going to happen.
I've loved the Championship for years. Like even before Argyle have been in it, I've always said it's like clearly the best number 2 league in the world.
Yes.
Like especially
comfortably.
this year, the quality in the Championship. It's been we've seen it firsthand, week in, week out. You've seen it from 2 perspectives as well. It's unbelievable. Like the fact that
It's just the
Leeds,
shame,
the Southamptons.
There's no real sort of like top 6 title
No,
race.
it is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's just a shame the top 4 are so far ahead. And even West Brom, they're just like in their own little world.
Yeah,
alone
exactly.
in 5th. It's just 6th and downwards.
And it's
And the relegation battle as well. Fantastic.
The relegation
Is
battle.
it fantastic?
It is fantastic.
It's fantastic for you.
Not to be a part of.
You actually pulled away from it now. What's his name again?
Luke Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair play to him. Fair play. He's proving people wrong so far.
Lucas Bertie.
That win against Cardiff was
Yeah.
class.
I mean, we dominated an informed team.
Yeah.
We made them look like they were the out-of-form team. We looked informed.
Was that your
incredible.
most recent game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, got the Swansea up there. Who's your game against on Friday?
Chef Wednesday
Ooh,
Which
home or away?
at Hillsborough.
Ooh,
That is
that
a
is
fight.
not a gimme at the moment,
That's
is
quite
it?
an interesting fixture.
Yeah.
I could see that being a draw, to be honest. Or Wednesday, nick it.
Point to point. I don't care.
Yeah. So, what,
I can
is it
really
looking
see a
like? Do you
0-0.
reckon you'll be safe now, like unequivocally? Said that
Unequivocally.
I said that
You've not
twice
actually
now.
pronounced it correctly yet either.
Depends. I mean, left.
Definitely.
In the games left, we have Sheffield Wednesday.
Don't get nervous.
We have QPR. We have Stoke. We have Millwall. We have
You
Norwich
could get dragged.
and Middlesbrough.
Could get dragged into it though.
And we have one more of those, and I can't remember which one it is. Oh, we have Huddersfield as well.
So Goose. Yeah. Wednesday, QPR, Middlesbrough, Stoke, Rotherham, Huddersfield, Norwich, Millwall. Hey, I tell you what,
So-
you could get dragged into that.
It's a nice little run in, but
Yeah, that is a
How many
naughty little
points
run.
does a team
You
need
could.
to survive?
I
do you
reckon.
think?
I think realistically to survive in the
Usually
Championship,
50.
50-52.
But this year it'll be more because there's so many teams on so many
Will
points.
it be more? 'Cause I
Argyle
think
on.
every team's going to take points off each other. Like
Yeah.
I think between
The thing
now
I'll
and
say
then,
there,
3
look
wins.
at that. That is like Swansea could decide the relegation battle by either losing the games or winning them.
Yeah.
Because if you beat QPR, beat Stoke, but then lose to Huddersfield, lose to Millwall, that's kind of...
But if we beat them, and beat them, if we win all them 3, that is putting us...
Well, they can't see that. You'll have to describe it. Wednesday,
Oh, Wednesday, QPR and Stoke.
Middlesbrough. Oh, Stoke.
Stoke,
sorry.
yeah. If we beat them 3, then that kind of effectively puts us 9 points
Yeah.
further away. But that's 3 teams that have lost the opportunities to pick up 3 points.
Yeah.
So if we win those, we can push ourselves away. I kind of feel like the next 4 games are quite big.
Huge,
I mean,
yeah.
it's very optimistic thinking to say when we win those 3 games. I mean, that's like me saying when I
If we
fly
win-
to the moon, I'll be classed as an astronaut.
Did I say when? Did I say if we win those games? If.
Don't get nervous. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a huge time of year, and we can't do this podcast without mentioning
Go.
ye old Green Army,
old
who
Eagles.
have Norwich on Friday.
Lovely.
And I've already seen Norwich fans on Twitter say, I hope we get 6 against you.
Yeah, it's like, we're coming for you.
Yeah, it's revenge
I think
time.
we might as well just turn around and bend over, to be honest.
It's a family-friendly podcast.
It was.
Yeah, well, for content
Not
warning.
anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy if we somehow managed to not concede more than 3, to be honest. If we got a point there, unbelievable.
What if Foster's just ill? We have a caretaker coach for that game.
That'd be great. That'd be quality. Neo! I'm ready to
Bit
go.
of food poisoning for Fozzie.
God. If he has against us the night before the game, I definitely didn't feed it to him, okay?
Let's not diss our sponsor.
Let's. They put toenails in their pasties, Connor, alright?
Not on purpose.
I asked him to. That's shocking. Bristol City on Monday as well. Oh, I just can't deal with like them singing I am a cider drinker after they've scored their 5th. Again. Like, you cider buggers, come on. I can't deal with it. And they'll be singing that I see the East End rising, you know the ones.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not on a particularly great run, if we're being honest. Like, they've lost 4 of their last 5. And who did they beat? Who did they beat, Xander?
Swansea.
So...
I mean, to be fair, that is probably one of the worst performances I've ever seen us have in that game.
Really?
I've never seen us have so much of the ball and we didn't even hit the target once.
Yeah. God, that was a shocking game.
Yeah, it was
looking
bad.
At that, 73% possession.
I know, and I said like
8 shots.
They definitely going to
0 on target.
And they scored with their first shot on target as well.
In the 73rd minute. Was it from a corner? Because it was Dicky.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I figured it
just
might be.
it bounced around and he just kind of like just put it in.
God.
Bristol are miserable to watch play, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
The style of play.
Yeah, well, I've watched them enough times this year to know. Stephen and Harry, they'll tell you. It is rough. Well, did I send you the video where it's Vizza and he said the most boring club in England and it's Bristol City?
I didn't see that, no.
It's a good video. I'd recommend watching it. It's not telling us anything new that we don't already know.
No.
But you look, they've not won a trophy since 2014 and that was when they won League One. And then every season since then, they've just been mid. Like they are like the Crystal Palace of the Championship.
Yeah,
So they
literally.
finish 14th. Like their average league position is 14th every year. And they only had like one good run in the playoffs, and it's been pretty dreary for them. And the thing is that they say, oh, we haven't had the money, whatever. Yes, you have. You've sold some huge players. Like they sold, obviously, Alex Scott last summer, and they had the other big transfers where they sold like Lloyd Kelly to Bournemouth.
Kelly, yeah.
And then they've had other big transfers that I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they've had loads of money, and Bristol Sports Group invest a lot into them. It's not like they get the fans as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's all set up there for ready to go on and do something. Obviously, you live in Bristol. You know how much of a massive catchment area they've got.
There's a big fan base there as well. It's not just
It's a footballing city. It
is a big footballing city.
It is transformed a little bit more to other sports. Like obviously, the basketball and rugby are also owned by Bristol Sports Group. You were saying how much you love the hockey there.
Yeah, hockey's big in Bristol now. So
Whereabouts do they play that?
That's in Cripps.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's meant to be a temporary ground, but it's not.
How many people do they get?
I couldn't tell you. I
can
wouldn't
have
be able to judge
Big
it
up
off
ice
the
hockey
top
on
of
the
my
football
head.
podcast. I'm just really interested.
Whilst you're doing that, though, I'll just talk about the Alex Scott funds that have come in, and
Exactly.
they've not been
Yeah.
reinvested in a way that's actually enabled them to progress. Take the Declan Rice money on a big scale for West Ham,
Yeah.
and their squad's now infinitely better for it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I think it's like, as well, Swansea, we had quite a bit of money for Perot in the summer.
1,300.
Not
That's
bad.
pretty
actually
good.
quite good for ice hockey, to be
Yeah, when they've got a 1,300 capacity ground
fair.
or venue, you'd say.
When I was there,
Um,
it's quite full.
does it-
I'd say
yeah.
I'd say at least 800 at least.
I mean, that's solid, isn't it? Really, that's more than the basketball gets because they just play in a little. They play in SGS, obviously, at Filton.
Yeah.
They're just in a sports hall. God, I love when we go on tangents. This is not. If you're listening now, this is a football podcast.
Well, yeah, back to Perot. Like we got some good money for him in the summer, and I'd say we invested it. Did we invest it in the right players?
No.
Probably not for Swansea, because I think at the time we were making the signings for Michael Duff to suit Michael Duff.
Yeah, that's what you've said all year, isn't it? That's true.
Yeah.
I think in the summer, Jerry Yates will go, Kukarevich will go, Pedersen will go, Chibaton will go as well. I think them really.
Big summer overhaul.
Yeah, I think as what the ownership have keep investing more money into it. So now we've got 18 million over the season in terms of investments, which a lot of it will probably go on transfers in the summer, because I think we do need to spend a bit of money. But at the same time, the likes of Nathan Wood, who is out of contract, we'll probably sign him on another couple of year deal. But in the summer, if offers do come in, and I think they will,
Yeah.
because he's a quality defender. He's making it into the under-21 squad
Yeah.
for England still. So, unfortunately, I think he probably will depart the club in the summer. But if we can get like 10 million for him at least,
That's good.
I think that would probably be.
I could imagine him going to somewhere like what Nathan Collins did, like a Brentford or a Wolves or something like that.
I could see him going to Southampton, to be honest, because I think they were keen on him in the
Oh
summer
yeah, especially if they
last
go
year.
up.
Or Russell Martin as well.
That would make a hell of a
They'd
lot
be
of
keen
sense.
on him. So yeah, I think he'd do well in the Premier League because he's quick, he's strong, and I feel like that's making the transition from Championship to the Premier League. I feel like that's kind of what you need as a central defender.
Yeah. Well, whilst we're here, obviously, this is the 90 plus 2 podcast. Obviously, we cover all the leagues. So we've got to mention League 1 and League 2, of course. It's always the pivotal time of the year. I remember quite a few years ago, Good Friday was when Argyle could have gone up from League 2, but didn't against Portsmouth. Ended up drawing.
Well, speaking of Portsmouth, are they going
That's
to
what I'm
hold
saying.
out for the title?
That's what I'm saying. I was just, see.
Oh, really?
He knows it.
Oh, sorry, Jamie.
Knows it
I've,
so
I've
well.
stolen the thunder
I think
there.
they will.
I reckon they will, yeah.
I think they will because.
And I'm going to like to see Portsmouth back in the Championship.
Definitely.
Because I know, obviously, people are like, oh, God, Portsmouth rivalry, whatever. That's what I'm saying. I want to see it.
Yeah.
With Exeter, I hate them. I couldn't care less if they liquidate. In fact, I would care because I want the rivalry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them to liquidate. That is, I'll clarify that. I want them to be around just so we can play them and beat them. But Portsmouth, there's always a bit of like, it's kind of like friendly banter between Argyle and Portsmouth. And last season it was really disappointing because they were really, really bad when they came to Home Park. Like, they were awful. It was like 3-0, wasn't it?
I think it was 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah, we just absolutely breezed them.
Rico Hackett scored.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Get on. What a boy.
On long free kicks on FIFA, by the way. Absolute god. Anyway.
There's a little reference to when Xander beat me on FIFA once.
Which time?
Well, to be honest, we're usually quite close in our games,
Yeah.
aren't we?
Ah,
Like
okay.
me and you as well. It's just because we absolutely...
Tangent again.
Mate, we love it. I'm
We
telling
love
you.
a tangent. But anyway,
That's what I was-
Portsmouth, they are holding out because Derby and Bolton keep bottling it. Every time they have a chance, they just keep bottling it. Because Derby bottled
Yeah.
it against Northampton the other day.
Same with Barnsley as well.
And Barnsley, yeah.
Yeah, all three of Derby, Bolton and Peterborough lost their most recent games.
I just don't want to see Oxford in there.
I really want to see Stevenage get in the playoffs.
That'd be
I
class.
really want
Do
to
you?
see them, yeah.
Imagine
'Cause
them in the
I love
Championship.
Steve Evans so much.
Steve Evans.
Where
Yeah.
he's just this like large...
when he does the three, he's like,
Yeah, he loves it so much.
The Humpty Dumpty of managers.
Yeah, exactly. I'll never forget when he got promoted with Rotherham at Wembley in the playoffs. Alex Ravel scored like the best goal I've ever seen at Wembley. And he's just there like plodding along like, on the touch. Like, watch, if you've got the clip of it, stick it in now because it's brilliant. He's just there and he's like plodding along the touchline. He's like, his shirt's hanging out. He's such a don. I love Steve Evans. I actually might be seeing Stevenage in a few weeks' time
oh.
because there's like a weekend where it clashes with Exeter. So they're coming away to Exeter and Argyle aren't playing. So I was going to go up in the Stevenage end to tick off the ground because we all know I love a ground tick and I like Stevenage, to be honest. I want to see them get in there.
Is that one of them where it's an Argyle Friday night?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's the Rotherham one.
Nice.
And then the Saturday is, yeah. That's if Tavi aren't playing, to be fair. I would
Yeah.
prioritise Tavi nowadays. The 90 plus 2 and the other divisions below. I wonder how, going on to that, did Parkway finally win yesterday, I wonder? Because they finally played
think they
again.
got a draw.
Did you see the pictures on Twitter of their ground with all the sand? I
Yeah.
showed you that.
Terrible.
Oh, it was 2-1
2-1.
up the Parkway. They might stay up. They've got 4 games in hand now on Hanwell Town and 3 points to get.
I was going to say, I didn't even know they were like that far down, but obviously they've missed
It's
so many
because
games.
they've missed so many games. They were doing pretty well towards the start of the season, but yeah, they've just not been able to complete the games. It's bad, really, isn't it? I feel like
Yeah.
it'll get to a point where they're going to be playing. It's the same as Truro as well in the National League South. They're literally going to be playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday,
seen
Saturday.
this.
Someone did have that. Who was that? I can't remember who it
It's
was.
Truro.
Oh, was it Truro? Oh, it was
Yeah, with
Truro.
Paul
Yeah, it
Watton.
was.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very tough end to the season. It's like, at what point do you say, let's start forfeiting games for the sake of our players? Because I don't think they'll go down because they've got enough games. If they can even play half of them, they should still be all right because they've got a
I'd
good
play
side.
youth players against any teams that's in the top 6 or top 8.
That's a good point,
perhaps.
actually. If the squad depth is big enough, then they'll be all right. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much depth they actually have if they have like a 23-man squad or whatever.
Well, I remember a really iconic. Was he called Steve Hughes, the old Stoke manager?
Mark
Yeah,
Hughes.
Mark
Mark
Hughes.
Hughes, and he very famously admitted to not putting out his best 11 against Manchester City, and then I don't know who they played against next. I think it might have been someone like West Brom,
Yeah.
and they lost, and he got fired as a result
Wow.
because he was already in
Yes,
threat of his
I
job.
remember that. Yeah, because I think it was it was during the 17-18 Premier League.
Yes.
When they went down, and I remember it's like when Sky Sports do like the Premier League years. kind
Yeah,
of
I
thing.
love Premier League years.
I was watching the 17-18 season. I remember him in the press conference talking about it, and I think he got sacked as well after the because there was an FA Cup game
Yeah.
that they lost as well, and then they
Yeah.
lost to West Brom, and then I think he got the sack.
Yeah, and that's what I think that Truro should do, ironically, because why compete against, a Manchester City equivalent in the National League South, whoever that
Yeovil.
might be, Yeovil, knowing that you're going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
Prioritise the winnable games.
Exactly, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great point. Well, whilst we've still got time, as I forgot to do last time, we'll give a shout out to the backdrop today. So Xander, you brought the Swansea shirt in,
Yep.
of course. I'll quickly get it down. Mr. Perot on the back. Class, yeah. Swansea have done really well for shirts because you've got
Yeah.
so many of them. I keep looking at you wearing them, I'm like, that's a nice shirt.
I feel like,
You've been blessed.
yeah, I think especially since we've gone down to the Championship,
Yeah.
they've always been really quite nice. I mean, I can stick a few up in post-production, but yeah, they've always been quite nice. I remember the first season we went down, home kit was a bit boring, but the away kit was like grey into like orange.
Yeah.
Last year's kits weren't. They-
Joma.
they
It's a
grew on
rare
me.
sponsor as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Joma. You don't really
Joma,
see
they've
it.
been our kits for since 2016, I think.
Yeah.
So
I like the orange away one you've got.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I like that. That was
And the purple one too.
yeah,
It's that colour.
yeah, the Matt Grimes one.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the programmes, of course, we've got from the Palace game that I
Yeah.
went to earlier in the season, a Bournemouth friendly, of course a Jack one from you, Xander. Your default one's the Swansea, Torquay,
Okay.
Argyle. I think there's some that have actually been behind my head this whole time, so you've actually missed out on seeing them, but we've got Chelsea away, that camera, and Southampton from when they were actually still in the Prem, when I went on a uni open day to Bournemouth.
Against Watford as well.
Yeah, I know, and they lost. And then finally we've got Argyle versus Liverpool from that famous Derek Adams 0-0 masterclass.
That was brilliant. That was.
Arsenal versus Argyle in the cup as well. We did lose that one though, unfortunately. And then
West
finally
Ham Arsenal.
West Ham versus Arsenal, but that's actually your version of that programme, isn't it?
Which you two both went to.
Indeed.
We did.
That's class though. I know obviously it wasn't
dear.
a result for you, but still a good.
Oh,
Do you know what, I've not admitted it, but the Arsenal goal, I wasn't even watching.
Oh, were you not?
I wasn't even watching it when we scored.
Well, you got the West Ham goal on camera, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I filmed it. Stick the clip in, Xander.
I saw the pass to Odegaard and thought, oh, it's being cut out. And I turned around, and then I turned back around, and it was in the back of the net. And I thought, really?
Okay, yeah, so we are running out of time today, but we'll summarise it. I'll go for both of you guys since we've mentioned it. Title winners, relegated from, we'll do the Prem and the Championship, and then we've already established that we think Portsmouth will win the league.
Yeah.
League one we haven't mentioned, but I think that'll be Stockport, won't it? It's looking like.
Definitely
Stockport,
Mansfield in there as well.
Yeah.
Stockport, Mansfield, Wrexham, I think.
And then Chesterfield, of course, the only side to have got promoted so far this year because
Yeah.
they have absolutely breezed through
it,
League
yeah.
National League.
Brilliant for them, especially going so close last year as well.
Yeah, I'm really happy for them, to be honest. They've got great fans as well.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture? This is another one you could stick up. The lad whose granddad died, and he was on the pitch, and he had a picture of him and his granddad from before he died, and it's like, this one was for you, Pops, and it was
Oh.
very wholesome because he was doing the picture version. He was like holding up a picture. Yeah. All right. So Premier League title winners.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to say Arsenal.
Wow, he's got the shirt on.
Yeah.
You want to give the context for that as well?
Well,
Wasser?
context for the shirt, 'cause I do like my football shirts. I just thought, why not get one? It was cheap. It was very cheap. There was also an
Adidas outlet.
there was also an Arsenal fan in the family. One of my uncles is an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, why not?
I'll puff my chest out and say Arsenal, and the reason being is because I remember an interview in November when Manchester City were on poor form, and Guardiola, and I don't think he's ever done this, said that we will win the Premier League.
Oh,
And I think that's some level of insecurity,
arrogance. Yeah.
personally, and that's my logic, and because I don't particularly rate Liverpool.
Well, I'm struggling really. I really am. I don't want to say City because I don't want to see that. I don't want to say Liverpool because I really don't want to see Klopp like parading it around as if he's some kind of German god in Liverpool. I think looking at the run-ins, obviously we've said Arsenal have got the toughest. Can I see? I'm going to say City because I think they'll beat you on Sunday. I'm sorry.
I think they're going to beat us on Sunday, but I still think we'll win.
I don't
That's my
want them to win it.
slight.
I don't want them to
curveball.
win it. And don't get me wrong, it's kind of worst of like it could be really out of any of the big sides win it, because you haven't won it for years, and it's kind of then embarrassing for United who haven't done F all for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to see you happy, Connor.
Oh,
I
stop it.
hope of any of the three that it would be Arsenal, because Dan and Tyler would be insufferable if Liverpool won it. And
God, yeah.
City is just boring, isn't it? They don't even have any fans that we know, do we?
Rather
No.
City.
Don't
than
even have
Liverpool.
any to take the mick out of. Yeah, exactly. And then relegated from the Prem, we haven't even mentioned that today, but I think it's looking like it'll be Sheffield and Burnley pretty
Yeah, them three
solidly.
two named on.
Forest, because of the point deduction, have been dragged in.
I think it could be them, you know. I don't want it to be, but I think it could be
No,
them.
I kind of hope, like, not in any offence to Forest, but from a selfish Argyle point of view, if we stay up, Forest away, that would be
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Good
Like,
shout.
I'd still do Luton, and I'd still do, well, Sheffield United. I'd
Would
like
you
to
be able
do.
to get to Luton away though because of the ground capacity?
Yeah, mate, I've got loads of priority points. I'm not a plastic.
Good
I've
on.
been to like 7 or 8 away games this year. You know me. Come on. But yeah, I can see those three. And then what have we said? The Championship.
I do worry for Everton. Just complete inability to score.
Yeah,
You know, defensively, I think they've got a better defence than you.
probably.
I think they do. I think they've only conceded
Oh,
something
but-
really minute, like 37.
yeah.
I think that Everton defensively been really
Sean
quite good
Dyche has
this year.
expected
39
goals
goals
number,
conceded.
really,
United,
really healthy.
39 goals conceded.
I
Both the same.
believe, and another potential stat, I think they're 8th or 9th in terms of expected goals,
Probably.
and they've only scored.
They've not got a bad side, do they? On
No.
paper.
No.
Well, I think this year, if you take away all the points deductions, they would be quite high up.
They would be.
I think it's fallen now. I think it's 15th.
Yeah, it's like 14th now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for quite a while it was like Europe, but because they have had such a poor run, they haven't won in
9 or
over
10.
5 games.
Okay, that's fair
Like,
enough then,
yeah, it's a lot in the league. They
I think
haven't
that-
won since December.
I just seem to remember watching
1,
their
2,
highlights
3.
earlier on in the season, like against in their early games against like Fulham and that, and they would be losing like 1-0, but they just
Yeah.
wouldn't be having. They would be all down the other end. Like Everton would be firing them in, but just wouldn't be hitting the target.
11 games without a win.
Ooh,
Bournemouth away on Saturday.
Ooh.
For Everton.
big one.
Bournemouth are struggling at the moment, though. They're getting some wins, but they are looking quite vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think that, personally, I think it's going to be Luton, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'd love them to stay up, and I think they've done a real
Yeah, they've.
credit to themselves.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I think it might
They've
just
done
be
a
too
lot better
much.
than everybody thought they would, don't they?
It's like that Lando Norris meme where it's all too much for little
And
Lando
it's all
Norris.
too much for little
Lando
Lando Norris.
all too much
Podium
for
for
little
him.
Luton. Yeah.
Big up Lando Norris. Yeah, I will have to rush us a bit here for time, because obviously we've got to get off to pick
We
up
do.
Ollie from the train station. Championship, we'll quickly mention that as we already have. I don't think Argyle will go down, but I'm also really biased. I hope that Wednesday go down.
If we weren't Argyle fans and we looked at Argyle's form,
Yeah, you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh no. Rotherham, I think they'll be gone.
I think the bottom three as it is now will be the bottom three how it ends.
Yeah, don't know, Birmingham.
I'm just happy we don't have to play Birmingham now
Yeah, same.
because they've got Gary Rowett and I think he'll save them.
Yeah, Stoke, would love to see them go down. Wonder why.
where's Huddersfield at the moment?
22nd.
22nd.
I think they're down.
I think
I
they.
think them and Rotherham are my two that are definite.
Haven't won in 4.
And then probably Sheffield Wednesday.
Birmingham haven't won in 5, to be fair. 6, actually. QPR, again, not great.
I think they'll be
I think
fine.
I say all of this, when was the last time Argyle won? Like, and we're not going to win against...
Borough.
Promoted, I think it will be Leeds, then Leicester, and then in the playoffs it will be Southampton.
Yeah, I think-
Boring, but
No, that's what
I
I've
think
said
it'll
all
be
year.
Them three going back
I've
up
stuck by it.
I think in that order though, I think Leeds will win the title.
again.
They've come really good, haven't they?
Yeah.
They look so strong. But
If Ipswich don't go
will
up,
it be
though,
enough to stay up in the Prem next year?
who knows? Yeah. If
Join us
Ipswich,
for the pre-season prediction one in a few
Real
months.
segue, isn't it?
yeah. If Ipswich
I
don't
never
go up,
stop.
that is them done.
Yeah.
They're ruined next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've had such massive investment to get to the Prem, haven't they? The
And
American
they've even got,
investments.
yeah, that's just come in as well.
Yeah.
Kieran McKenna will be gone.
Can't wait to see their downfall.
I've been preying on their downfall the whole season, to be honest, but yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you very much for coming on today, Connor. It's been brilliant. It's gone so quick.
Yeah.
It always does. Time flies when you're having fun on the 90+2 podcast. I'm sure we'll get you along.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Very good.
Like I said, we mentioned it last week. We're hoping to do some watch-alongs at some point. Make it like a new series on YouTube.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
Thank you very much, Xander, as always.
That's all right. Thank you very much.
Amazing co-hosting for yourself.
Yeah.
And thank you from me, Mr. Townsend. And we'll join you very soon for the next episode of the 90+2 podcast.
Bye.